Hi guys, it's still pumpkin season and that means there are still pumpkin recipes that I want to share with you. This recipe was an idea that I got from an old recipe that I have. I have a recipe for potato flatbreads, which are something that's very common in Finland. I'm gonna link the recipe here for you. They are super delicious. They're great with some egg butter and also with just butter, and even as they are. They're really delicious, and I thought, why not try making something similar but with pumpkin? And I loved how they turned out. I love the taste, and I absolutely love the color of these pumpkin flatbreads. Also, these are really easy and quick to make, and definitely worth the work. So let's get started with the recipe. You want to start by adding the pumpkin puree into a medium bowl and giving it a short mix. Then you want to add in the butter. The pumpkin puree can be warm, and also the melted butter can also be warm when you add it to the pumpkin puree. Then you want to add in the milk and give it another mix just to mix it in. I like to add the wet ingredients one at a time because that makes it easier to mix. Then you want to add in the egg and also just shortly mix it in. Then you want to season with salt. I'm adding in about 1 teaspoon of salt and just shortly mixing it in. Then you can start adding the dry ingredients. I'm adding them in small batches and mixing shortly just to make sure I have no lumps in the batter, and also to see when I will need to swap to a spatula, because when the batter gets really thick, you will want to swap the whisk to a spatula just to make it easier for you to mix. Once you have added all of the flour, this is how your batter should look. So it should be quite soft at the end as well. Then you want to make small balls out of the batter. So I'm using my ice cream scooper, but you could also use a big tablespoon. Take a tablespoonful or ice cream scoopful of the batter and place it into a bowl with some flour. Then coat the bowl with the flour and leave aside. The flour will help you to form the flatbreads at a later point because the batter is really soft, so you will need some extra flour for forming the flatbreads. Then you want to take a baking tray, cover it with some parchment paper and start forming the flatbreads as I'm doing here. So you just want to flatten it out in a round form and make sure not to flatten them too thin. I actually flattened mine this time quite thinly, and I must say I prefer them on a thicker side. So don't flatten them too flat. I don't know what to say, but don't make them too flat. And then you want to pierce the surface of the flatbreads with a fork before popping them into the oven. Once you've removed the flatbreads from the oven and they're still warm, you want to cover them with a clean kitchen towel. I really want to hear what you think about this recipe. I don't know if it's common or not common. I never heard of pumpkin flatbreads, and I was really excited about this recipe idea. Also, I absolutely love the color. I always love all the things that are really colorful, and I would also love to hear what you think about the color of the pumpkin flatbreads. I enjoyed these flatbreads with a little bit of butter. I think that was the best way to enjoy them because you could taste the flatbread, so the flavor of the flatbread itself without covering it with another taste. But you could also eat them like bread with any kind of topping that you like. So some cheese or some ham or whatever you like to top your bread with. If you enjoyed this recipe, don't forget that thumbs up so I know you did, and subscribe so don't miss any of the coming delicious recipes. Thank you for watching my video. Bye bye until next time.